Everybody's got their go-to pistol, and this is mine. Smith & Wesson M&P 2.0, highly customized. I love this thing. Welcome back to Sawtooth Tactical. Today, we're going to revisit one of my favorites. This is Smith & Wesson M&P 2.0. And this is the one that I did the first build series on, where I took a stock Smith & Wesson M&P and customized just about every part of it to make it into what it is today. But before we get started, just want to thank everyone that's subscribed to the channel. We're growing really fast, and I really appreciate it. So when I bought this, it was a stock M&P 2.0. It's the full size, 4¼ inch barrel, 17 round capacity. But the upgrades are what made all the difference. Specifically, this Apex flat face trigger and the red dot. That was a slow reload. So like I said in the intro to the video, today's video is about the M&P 2.0, but not just any M&P 2.0. A lot of people these days do Glock builds where they make Gucci custom Glocks. Well, I wanted to do something similar, but what I had was a Smith & Wesson M&P 2.0. So I decided to do the same kind of thing with this because I really like this pistol. The stock M&P 2.0 has really nice grip texture. It's just really easy to hold on to. And I like the grip angle better than a Glock. It's more straight up and down instead of slanted back quite as much. I like grips that are more vertical. You can see that's what I've put on my ARs. That's just what I enjoy. Plus, I just think it's a good looking pistol to start with in general. It has a stainless steel insert in the polymer frame here that keeps it nice and stiff and strong. It's got good sights from the factory. You can see those 3-dot sights there. It's just a very decent pistol, and I already enjoyed it a lot. So when it was time to do a build like that, I felt like this was the perfect platform for it. So what I did, the very first thing, the biggest thing that people complain about the M&P series of pistols is the hinge trigger. And they're right. That's probably the biggest drawback to this pistol. So the very first thing I did was I replaced the trigger. And I replaced it with the Apex flat face trigger. And boy, what a difference it makes. Check out this out. So you got, for one thing, instead of that hinge mechanism that Smith & Wesson puts on their M&P pistols, it has more of the safety blade. But this one, unlike stock Glock triggers, actually goes flush with the trigger shoe. It's a nice flat face trigger shoe. It just feels very comfortable on the pad of your finger. Little bit of take up, which is very smooth, and that has to do with the striker block, which is part of the whole kit, being rounded and much more smooth, so that when your trigger bar interfaces with that, it just makes that take up like butter instead of kind of gritty like the stock trigger is. So you get that little bit of take up there, and then look at the break. It's extremely short and crisp. The reset is short, audible, and it's right back to the wall for that break. That trigger, if you're going to do just one upgrade to an M&P 2.0, put the Apex trigger in it. It's almost a necessary thing, and it just takes your pistol to the next level. After that was putting on the red dot. And in order to do that, I had to send the slide off to get it milled for a red dot. And you have to pick exactly which red dot you're going to use. So I picked the Holosun HS407K, which is a smaller red dot, but I picked it for a reason. It was so that I could co-witness my stock iron sights through it without having to spend extra money on a set of suppressor height sights. And they do co-witness through it perfectly fine, as you can see there. And this red dot, this Holosun, has been fantastic. It has 50,000 hours of battery life. It has a tray so you could change the battery right there without having to remove the optic from the gun and having to re-zero it, which is very nice. It has a 6 MOA red dot, which yes, it's not the most fine precision red dot, but this gun, the whole purpose of it is the first thing I would grab in a home invasion, you know, that type of situation. And so I want something that's built for fast target acquisition, and a 6 MOA dot is about perfect for that. Yes, the window's a little bit small on the 407K model, but I've found that with practice and presenting the gun the same every time, that red dot just drops into the middle of your window perfectly. You just have to practice with your stuff, no matter what. Besides that, and of course, the Cerakote, I got the Midnight Bronze. I wanted something that looked custom, but not super flashy. Midnight Bronze turned out beautiful. And leading into the light, I just accidentally turned it on, was the Streamlight TLR1 HL. This light is extremely bright, but the main thing is I like the way that you actuate it. Instead of buttons, it's got the little paddles, so up is momentary on, down is stay on. That's with your trigger side finger. On the other side, it would be the opposite, down for momentary, up for constant, and it also has a strobe mode if you want to use that. But let's take a closer look at this thing, and maybe you guys will appreciate it as much as I do. This M&P with this trigger and this red dot is just easy to shoot. So this will give you a little better look at this thing, because I do think that for a polymer frame striker fired gun, it is a very good looking pistol. And now that we've gone over what the main upgrades to this are, I just want to tell you why I like it so much. For one, 17 round capacity. I keep it filled with Federal HST hollow points in a quick access safe by my bed, so that way it's ready in case I ever need it. God forbid, hopefully I never will. And the likelihood of ever needing it like that is very low, but I would much rather be ready and be able to protect my family and my home in case I have to. So here you can see that grip stippling, and this is very, very aggressive. I think if it was something you were going to carry every day in an IWB holster, it would probably be pretty harsh on your skin. But as far as for shooting it, you have a great grip on it, whether your hands are sweaty, wet, anything. It's just very easy to manage recoil. And the added weight of the light helps manage the recoil as well. It is a full-size gun. It's a 4¼ inch barrel, which full-size guns are just really nice and really easy to shoot compared to compact guns. Now, the red dot I have on it is more of a design for a compact gun, but I like it for this because, for one, it doesn't stick out really wide, wider than the slide. And for two, I can co-witness my iron sights through it. And there you see that dot, being a 6 MOA dot, is pretty easy to pick up. And the 407K, it's got a very thick aluminum housing, and it's just a very strong, very sturdy optic, which is a nice thing to have in a dual type of gun. This Apex trigger, this is probably the best thing about it. Let's just show that again. A little bit of take up, which is extremely smooth. The original trigger is pretty gritty on this gun, but the Apex is so smooth, and look how short this break is. It's like it barely moves. Reset, break. It's a fantastic trigger. I really, really do like this Midnight Bronze Cerakote as well. Gives it just enough of a custom look that you can tell it's not a stock M&P, but it's not too flashy or over the top, which is exactly what I was going for. It would be nice to have some better forward slide serrations on it, because the little fish scales up front here don't really do a whole lot for you. They're kind of just for looks, but I still don't have any problem running the gun from the front or the rear, which is nice, especially when you do have a red dot. It's nice to be able to do those press checks if you have to. And those do give you just a little bit to grip onto, which is enough to make it work. The rear slide serrations on the M&P work fantastic, as does just about everything else on this gun. It's just a very, very good pistol, and there's a reason why it's so popular. I don't have to change up my grip in order to actuate the mag release. Same thing with the slide release. It is a little bit stiff though, and you see that in one of my reloads during this video. In order to break this gun down, you guys probably already know how M&Ps work. You basically just pull this out, take this lever, pull the trigger, and the slide pops right off. And there you can see the internals of that trigger. With the apex, you do replace the sear and the sear engagement lever, as well as the safety, the striker block safety right there, with one that is much more smooth and well-rounded. And that is what makes that trigger take-up so nice and smooth. It does have the original barrel and the original recoil spring in it. And this gun, I just love it. So practicing with this M&P is, it's almost too easy. The stippling on the grip on these pistols is so good. And with the added weight of the light on the end, it's just really easy to control a recoil. So when it comes to home defense, I specifically built this carbine, set it up for a home defense type of role. But when it really comes down to it, if I'm asleep in the middle of the night, what's probably going to happen is that I'm going to be able to grab this out of my bedside quick access safe. And so it needs to be something that I can rely on and that I know that I can shoot well. And so I practice with it often. And I've gotten very good with this pistol. It's a really easy pistol to shoot accurately. It's extremely reliable, and it has a record of that reliability. And with the upgrades that I put on it, mainly the red dot and the trigger and the light, it's basically perfectly designed for that type of role. So I want to know, what is your go-to pistol? What do you run as the pistol that is going to be what you grab if you ever have to, God forbid, use a gun in a self-defense type of situation? And now, I don't necessarily mean your concealed carry gun, because for me, that is the SIG P365. It's a much smaller gun, and I will be doing another video about this soon. I've only been carrying it for about a month now, but I absolutely love this pistol. But that's not really what I'm talking about today. I'm talking about something that you use for home defense that would be your go-to thing to grab in an oh shit situation, your bedside gun, whatever. Tell me what you use. I would love to hear it. This is mine, and I love this pistol. It was worth every bit of money that I put into it to make it what it is now. Anyway, please check out my Patreon link down below if you enjoyed this video and you want to join our Patreon family. It is the best way to support the channel. I also have an Amazon affiliate link. If you click on that, I'll link to this Holosun Optic right there. But you can also get this TLR1 HL on Amazon. Both of these, they have a great deal on them right now. And if you click my link before you buy them, the channel gets a little kickback. Doesn't cost you anything extra, but it helps me out quite a bit. Please like, share, and definitely subscribe. And from Sawtooth Tactical, stay strapped or get clapped.